There's actually some interesting comic book news to go over. I want to start with this, though, because it's a perfect lead-in to what we're going to go over. Marvel Comics executive Tom Brevoort denies industry is dying. Instead, argues what is likely happening is the market is changing. What's it changing into, Tom? Non-existence? The Comixology app changed, got shut down, and rolled everything into Kindle. Comic book stores are closing left and right. Sales are down across the board. You're not even trying to open up a digital store. In fact, Marvel closed its digital store. So what is it changing into? Free comics on a rack outside of a grocery store where they put the trade books? I think they still have those. They used to have these free books where you could see people wanting to sell their cars and motorcycles and tractors. You could find those outside of the grocery. Like, they were always in there when you walked in and the carts were there. I don't know if they still do that anymore. But those were free. So is that the new market? You're just going to give this away for free? I mean, you're already doing it. The audience that you cater to steals them off of piracy sites anyway. So this guy is directly responsible for a lot of the problems that Marvel has. He brought in a couple of those milkshake girls that became big-time bullies and blackmailed and kicked out and canceled a bunch of old, talented creators so they could bring in all their buddies that kiss their asses. Tom helped make that happen because he wanted a work girlfriend, like all of the big-time editors over at Marvel that don't do shit. I could go on all day about how Tom is a lazy editor, doesn't check anything, and ran off some big talent. Jim Starlin was one of them. He had problems with Tom Brevoort, big problems with him, because he was lazy and didn't do any actual work. Tom is the worst thing over at Marvel's, next to a couple of his other buddies that are still high up over there for some reason. The cancer's deep over at Marvel Comics, ladies and gentlemen. But a comic book shop owner has gone somewhat viral for what he had to say, and all of these people are turning on him left and right. They're attacking him, talking about how he looks, calling him smelly and disgusting and all kinds of stuff. They don't really address his point. They just attack his physical features. A 30-year comic shop owner. He owns this YouTube channel. I am subscribed to it. He just does vlogs where customers come in and he shoots the shit with his comic book customers and goes over new stuff coming out. He does a lot of promotion for them, free promotion. And, it kind of captures the feel of going into a comic shop and just talking about stuff like this, which is fun. It was fun. So many of them are closing, it's tough to do anymore. So he did this rant. I want to play this rant. It's part of one of his longer videos. And then we'll go over some of the responses that these unhinged comic book fans and pros are saying. There's a lot of comic book pros mad about this, salty about the fact that he's right. That's why they're attacking how he looks and not addressing his points, because they're mad about what he's saying here and that it's resonating with people. Listen to this.
Most of these new writers don't have the love of comics like these older writers had. And all they care about is, how can I put myself in the book? No, we don't care what you would do if you were Iron Man. We don't care who you are. You're writing Tony Stark. You're not writing yourself in a book. If that's the case, write your own comic with you in it. No one will read it because nobody cares. People grew up, are growing up loving Peter Parker, loving Miles Morales, loving all these Captain America. We don't need you to put your input in it. Just write Steve Rogers. Don't write Steve Rogers. What would Steve Rogers be if I was Steve Rogers? That's not how it works. But that's again how most of these new people write nowadays. That's why most of the stuff is shit. Because we don't care what you would do, because we don't care about your life whatsoever. Just write a book, get paid for what you do, get paid for what you're supposed to be doing, and make it a good story. Most of these new writers.
Nothing he said there is wrong. That's all factually true. A lot of these people self-insert themselves into the book. This is why when you see a plump writer constantly have the characters interact in restaurants eating food, they're self-inserting themselves because that's all the life experience they have, and they don't know how to write anything else. So this is why when you read a Marvel comic, a lot of the characters eat, because that's kind of these writers' lives. They sit around in coffee shops and stuff like that, and that's pretty much their life. Or they're complaining about Trump or people that disagree with them politically. These are the people that run the comic book industry now, and it shows. I mean, that's why these people are so upset. Here's Gail Simone saying this is a tiny clip of a much longer video. This gentleman has had his store 30 years. My hat is off to him, and I have watched his videos, and they're good fun. Not that bad of a comment, but then you have people saying stuff like this. Interesting, he mentions Cap. Simon and Kirby wanted to punch Hitler in the face before U.S. entered the war, so they did it vicariously through a fist they wrote and drew. Superheroes were created as vassals for their creators, who always pour themselves into their characters. Not true. Not true. Sure, they created the character because of how they felt, right? But this was not them. This isn't Jack Kirby. It's a character they created because they didn't like him, sure. They wanted America to get involved in the war. This was summing up their feelings. But there's a lot of people very, very upset over this, like Jamal Igle. Here's another writer. This guy works in this guy's a artist in the comic book industry. Comic writers, take note. This salami-breathed hog has some sage wisdom for all of you. Wow, you didn't once address his points, did you? Probably because his criticism hurts you. It hurts, doesn't it? Because he's right. He's calling you out. And he's a prominent comic book shop owner, 30-year comic book shop owner. Every dollar that's in your pocket are thanks to people like him. But sure, don't address any of his criticism. Just attack his looks. Jim Lee. This is from July 19th, so that's not him, but here's okay, so this is about the Wildcats thing. Not canceled, just some deadlines missed. Gonna stay grinding. The marathon continues. No one is more bummed than me to hear that the postponing of the launch of Warren Ellis's Wildcats, the numerous scripts Warren has turned in, are just fantastic. It didn't go through because of the artist. That's why. So that's why he put that in there. Donnie Cates, a guy that going through a lot of personal stuff right now. I'm not going to attack him, even though he's attacking this comic book shop owner. But he says, don't you guys hate it when you go into a hardware store, how the guy behind the counter always tells you how much hammers suck? Shitty example, because people still go to the hardware store and buy shit. This guy's upset because his business is probably struggling. His business is struggling, and you guys run around pulling all kinds of childish bullshit behind the scenes and have single-handedly helped ruin the comic book industry. There's more than this, but you've seen some examples. Here's the difference. Comics are still doing well. This is where I want to end this video. Comics are still doing well. I've shown this chart in a previous video when I went over that stupid Mystique Nightcrawler retcon, which is dumb and it's unnecessary. They never needed to retcon that character. They've already retconned it. He was originally the son of a German baron, I think it was, right? A rich dude, we'll say that. I can't remember if he's German or not. And Mystique was with him, and she dumped him because she didn't want that baby messing with her leeching off of that dude's money. So she dumped the baby into a river. And then they retconned it and made the father Azazel. And then they retconned it again recently to make it an LBGT fantasy. There was no reason to change that origin again. But they're like, hell, let's do it. Let's do it, even though nobody wanted this. Oh, it was Chris Claremont's original idea until it got shut down by editorial because it's stupid and it brings up all kinds of problems. Like why she can't copy X genes. Oh, she can change her chromosome. That means she could probably, I don't know, copy X genes, making her the most powerful person in existence. Oh, she can't do that. It's different. Stupid writing by stupid people. You got all of these books. This is the top 20 adult graphic novels. Now, they change it to adult graphic novels as Damage Control. Is Spy X Family an adult book? This is bookstore data. And the reason they call it adult graphic novels is because it's all manga. It's all Japanese comics. American comics can make this list. Here's two of them. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin Lost Years. Disney's on here, except it's a Disney manga. Manga dominates this list, not American comics. That's because nobody's reading American comics anymore because it's filled with a bunch of phonies. Nothing that guy said was wrong. And it really proves his point that all of these talentless hacks like Jamal Igle run out and attack him on his looks, say he stinks. They don't address his comments at all. They ignore it completely. Why is that? Because he's right. And it hurts. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.